Loose, you're getting all swoony again.
I can't help it. Azora is able to befriend everyone, even her biggest rival. I wish I had that kind of power.
Another example of the Good Witch Azura books foreshadowing something that happens later in the episode. This is like the third or fourth time it's happened, honestly getting kinda sick of it.
Now keep reading. I've been sucked into your awful fandom.
How does King know what the word fandom means? I get that it's a joke, but where else would he have heard the word? I guess Luz would have maybe said it once or twice before, but did she explain it to him? Did he ask what it means? Okay, so we know that the Bat Queen is pretty massive. And I mean massive. Her head is huge. And you're telling me that none of them heard the Bat Queen flying down with her massive wings to deliver her basket? If we want to dig into this a bit more, maybe instead of the Bat Queen delivering it, she sent some palisman to do it for her.
Nope, not eating that.
Witches eating babies is so 1693. What is this?
Do they teach that at Hexside? Because Ida definitely isn't old enough to be living around the 1690s. Same thing with her parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so forth. So the only way for her to know this would be if they taught this at Hexside or if someone else told her. Another thing I would like to comment on are years in the Boiling Isles. Ida says that witches eating babies is so 1693, the same time period as the Salem witch trials back in the human realm. So if Ida is referring to witches eating babies in the demon realm, then it's probably 1693 in both the demon and human realm. But in Season 3, Episode 1, Thanks to Them, Hunter seems to confuse the year 2008 as the future, and we know that the show takes place around 2020. We also know that time passes at the same pace in both realms, and it wouldn't make sense for Ida to use human years to refer to the past, meaning that these years also apply to the demon realm. So if we combine all of this information, how the heck does Hunter not know that the year is currently 2020 and thanks to them? If all this information I just gathered is true, then it should be 2020 in the demon realm as well. So how does Hunter not know that 2008 has passed a long time ago? This either has to be some weird Grimwalker shit I don't understand, or Hunter is just dumb. V seems to correct him, but I can't tell if it's because she's lived on Earth for a while or she's just smarter than him. But Hunter should be fairly well educated. We've heard him say he studied stuff like mindscapes. So if he knows enough about mindscapes, he should know enough about the years. The only reasonable thing that I can think of, which may not even be that reasonable, is that since Hunter is a clone of Caleb and Caleb lived around 1693, Hunter must still think that it's still around 1693. Like I said, it doesn't even sound reasonable. Why would Hunter be anticipating the year 2008 if he thinks it's around 1693? He'd be dead by then. You could also say that my idea may already be out the window since V says this.
This was written in the 90s about the year 2008.
But you could also say that Hunter mistook the 90s as the 1690s instead of the 1990s. But this theory is already too bad insane for this to make any sense. Also, holy shit, I just wrote half a page trying to make myself understand one sentence. I need to stop because I'm not even a minute into the episode.
She's the wealthiest demon on the Boiling Isles. Get in with her and you're set for life.
How exactly is the Bat Queen so wealthy? It's never explained because it really doesn't have to be explained, but I'm pretty sure there is no other mention of her wealth again.
I don't want her getting a cut of the loot.
Good thinking.
Ida is still not a good person.
Darling.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, I had to turn down the volume for that one because that was actually loud.
You're in a library. Read a book.
This librarian is so rude for no reason. Luce asked a very reasonable question that could have been answered in a few sentences, but he basically just told Luce to f*** off. I really don't like these TV like crystal ball things that appear multiple times in the show. It's the same problem I have with Pentagram. It's weirdly too modern compared to the rest of the Boiling Isles. Instead of these crystal balls, maybe they could have just made them magic projections or something. If the crystal ball didn't function exactly like some sort of TV, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. I really like seeing this other side of Amity. Like Luce, it's so jarring to see Amity being nice to people at this point in the show, since we're so used to her mean persona. It also shows that while Amity is mean to people like Luce and Willow, she doesn't treat the kids the same way because they're just little kids. It adds even more layers to Amity's character at the end of the day.
Maybe I can befriend her like Azora befriended her rival.
I get that Luce is just like this, but I really don't like how she tries to apply everything she sees in the Azura books into real life. I'm so happy they stopped doing that eventually.
Ugh, you.
And as soon as Amity sees Luce, she immediately switches up from being nice and caring to mean. Again, shows how she doesn't respect people like Luce, but she wouldn't be like that towards the kids.
Okay, I don't really know what you do there, but every time you come near me, I get in trouble. Just leave me alone!
She's not completely wrong. In episode 3, she gets sent to the principal's office, but that's mainly because she was harassing Luce, so I wouldn't consider it Luce's fault. And then there was episode 5 where she got exposed for cheating in front of a crowd of people, and it wasn't Luce's fault, nor was it hers. It was Lilith's and Edith's fault. So while she does get in trouble every time she has been around Luce so far, Luce hasn't been the root of the problem. We actually see Amity reach out her hand towards Luce here. Was Amity actually going to apologize to her for what she just said? You can even see her facial expression change. She must have felt some sort of sympathy. They did have that one moment in convention, so it's not completely off the table. And now we have the introduction of 2 new characters, Edric and Emira. I don't have much to say about them really, other than the fact that they are actually really mean in this episode, but we'll get into that later. No way this dude didn't notice any of this. While he wasn't paying attention, I feel like you would notice that you've been placing way more books than you were supposed to place. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it just doesn't really make any sense to me.
You've made reading far too fun. Now stay out!
A librarian would never say this, right? Isn't reading supposed to be fun? I mean, when I read books, I usually try to read ones that I think or know that I'm going to have a good time with. Also, they weren't even reading anything. This statement makes no sense.
There's a certain book we forgot to check out.
And bonus, rumor has it the Wailing Star is supposed to unlock some rare magical event. You in, friend?
Sure.
Is it just me, or does this feel kind of like peer pressure? The way Edric emphasizes the word friend and how they both know that Luce wants to be friends with Amity makes me believe that. How does this make any sense? Oh my god, I never want to see or think about this scene ever again. They breathe fire as well? The Bat Queen never breathes fire in the show. Also, I didn't think about this before, but since the Bat Queen is actually a palisman, does that mean palisman can reproduce? There you have it, curse the smear frame Luce. For some reason, every time I watch this episode, I always think that the 2 doors are going to swing open or something, but no, the lock just gets bigger. Also, this is the crime, but I don't know how laws work in the Boiling Isles. I don't know, man. The concept of books coming to life has always just been pretty cool to me for some reason. This looks like a reference, but I'm not cultured enough to get it.
What if we invent a TV network for ages 6 to 11?
That's insane. There's only one way out of this.
I'm sorry, this is probably one of my favorite sets of jokes in the entire show. Even Luce, what are you reading? The only letters in that book are O and a weird looking B. Dude, that is actually so messed up. The poor duck did not deserve that. I don't know how drawing eyebrows and claws turned it into this disgusting beast, but okay. The book he pulls out is called The Lone Witch in Secret Room. The Lone Witch being Amity, and the secret room being what they find here. I didn't think I was going to find the code myself in this episode, but there it is, right in my face. It translates to 2.
So we're going to find her diary.
And then post the pages all around school for everyone to see.
Like I said before, this is messed up. Your diary is supposed to be something you keep your true feelings in. That's why you hide them in the first place. Unless your diary has no problems at all, I'm pretty sure no one would feel comfortable sharing these thoughts publicly. I wouldn't, so yeah, it's no surprise these guys are really bad siblings. How are those here? Yeah, I know it gets explained in season 2, but I personally find that explanation stupid.
The diary. I may have overreacted. I don't want to come off as cruel. I just can't show weakness. No.
And we finally get an explanation for why Amity acts this way. She just doesn't want to appear weak to others. That's why she stands with her cocky persona. I also love Luce's immediate reaction here, showing how even though she knows Amity doesn't like her, she still cares about her privacy. How do these pages fall out so easily? Also, these dates confuse me so much, but I don't want to get into them. Oh, she did the face, guys. That's how you know she's really angry.
I've been trying to figure out what your deal is. Are you a poser? A nerd?
I know. You're a bully, Luce.
I feel like Amity came to this conclusion way too fast. This is the only time Luce has acted like this to her, and you're also telling me she couldn't tell that Luce was trying to fix the mess?
Just go away before things somehow get worse.
She says as things conveniently get worse. The glowing parts on Otobin's body are actually the features that they drew on the picture originally. The claws, teeth, eyebrows, and eyes. Still don't know how it turned into this thing, though. Great! New fear unlocked. Wonderful. First time we see Amity have this sincere smile towards anyone else, besides the kids. I know Amity at this point isn't insanely experienced with magic, but couldn't she just create a small abomination like in convention to get them out? Then again, it could just fall apart. Surprised she went the physical route to beat this. Am I crazy for still thinking she could have just used an abomination? Also, where the heck are Edric and Emira during all this? I know they left, but you're telling me they didn't hear any of this while they were leaving? Did no one in town hear this?
Luce has to right a wrong.
Why'd she word it like that? She could have just worded it like, give me a big ass eraser, and the book would have given her the same thing. Okay, I just took a look at what Amity wrote to see if it was correct, and I guess it was right, but how the heck did the book know what Amity meant? If I was the book, I'd be like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Why is she being so cryptic? Also, more proof that the my weak nerd arms joke is bullcrap. It takes Amity 2 hands to carry this eraser, and according to my calculations, that must mean it's pretty freaking heavy. But then when she throws it at Luce, she easily catches it with one hand. What is Ida feeding you, Luce?
Maybe you aren't a bully. I haven't exactly been the friendliest witch either. I'll think on that.
Let's go, more character development. I feel like we should have had one more episode developing their friendship before we see Amity again in Adventures in the Elements. It kind of feels like Luce was already a bit closer to Amity in that episode, even though in this episode they kind of left their feelings on each other undetermined. I know the perfect episode that we can replace so we can get an episode that strengthens their bond even more. We'll get into that one in the next OTOH vid. That design is still so insanely unsettling to me. What is this weird sign language thing Luce does? Why didn't she say anything?
I actually got you something from the library.
Why did Luce gather this book? Wait a minute, how did Luce get this book? There were no staff around that night. Did she actually commit a crime? She stole this book, right? Ida really is rubbing off her. Alright, this episode was pretty good. I really like the episodes in Season 1 that grows Luce's and Amity's relationship. The comedy in this episode is also really good. Like I said before, one of my favorite jokes is in this episode. See you guys in the next OTOH vid. Next time, we've got to deal with one of the worst episodes in the entire show.